Welcome to this presentation by Malvin Mchindan, in which I will talk about network security technologies. I'll focus on IDS and dig further into its categories, mainly two categories which fall under IDSs. Do not worry about these abbreviations, for I will explain them as we go. With so much increase in generation of data on a daily basis, and data becoming the new oil, it is of paramount importance to safeguard the data and its exchange from various attacks that may compromise our data. So, IDS simply means intrusion detection system, and then I'll also look into HIDS and NIDS. Let me dig further into IDS. This is a network security technology originally built for detecting vulnerability, exploits, or suspicious activity against a target application or computer, which notifies whenever such an activity is discovered. An IDS needs only to detect threats, and as such it is placed out of band on the network infrastructure, meaning that it is not in the true real-time communication path between the sender and the receiver of information. Let us look at its placement in the network infrastructure, selection type, and detection mechanisms. It is, as I said earlier on, it is not in the network band. It is outside the direct line of communication. It is out of band, and then the system type, it is passive, meaning to say it only monitors and notifies and does not take action. Then its detection mechanism is signature detection, exploit facing mechanisms. Let us look at its capabilities, what IDS can do. It can monitor the operation of routers, firewalls, key management servers, and files, providing a user-friendly interface so that non-expert staff can assist with managing system security, recognizing and reporting when the IDS detects the data files have been altered, generating an alarm and notifying that security has been breached, and reacting to intruders by blocking them or blocking the server. These are the capabilities of an IDS. Let us look at the benefits of an IDS. It offers the organization the ability to identify security incidents. So an organization can have maybe a risk register where you identify security incidents. An IDS can be used to help analyze and quantify the types of attacks. This is very crucial in managing risks. An intrusion detection system can also help companies identify bugs or problems with their network devices configuration. I will look into this as we go. Intrusion detection systems can also help enterprises attain regulated compliance in companies where there are some rules and regulations which companies are supposed to comply with in regards to their system securities. These IDS can help to comply. Let us look at the challenges of the IDS. IDSs, they are prone to false alarms, and these false alarms, they've got two categories. They can be false positives or they can be false negatives. A false positive may not be much of a worry as it leads to improvement in the network configuration. Then, of much more serious worry is a false negative, in which an IDS misses a threat and it treats it as a legitimate traffic, and then it does not notify that there is a challenge. Under such a circumstance, there is a risk that hackers may hack successfully, or the system may be compromised. So many things can happen to the system when there is a false negative. We'll look into HIDs and NIDs. There are actually about 5 categories of IDSs, but we're going to look into these 2. The 5 are network intrusion detection system, host intrusion detection system, protocol-based intrusion detection system, application protocol-based intrusion detection system, hybrid intrusion detection system. But we'll look into network intrusion detection system and as well as hybrid intrusion detection system. Let us start with the host intrusion detection system, or HIDS. Host intrusion detection systems run on independent hosts or devices on the network, meaning to say they take the host as a complete world in itself. It can be a computer or a server that can serve as a system in itself, analyzing and monitoring its own internals. It monitors the traffic incoming and outgoing from the device only, and it will alert the administrator if suspicious or malicious activity is detected. So this system is monitoring the host where it is installed. This will be understood as we go. Let us look at the advantages of HIDS. It detects the attacks excluded from the network. It also analyzes what really an application does. Since it is on that host, it analyzes what is supposed to be done by an application, then compare it to what is actually happening. Let us look at its disadvantages, its shortcomings. It is not included in the network, which is a problem on its own. So that is not included in the network. It means there are other things it may not detect. It needs to be installed on every host or spot. Then it is passive in nature, meaning to say that it just informs about the attack without resolving the attack. Let us look at the NIDS. NIDS are developed at a strategic point within the network to examine traffic from all devices on the network. It performs an observation or passing traffic on the entire subnet and matches the traffic that is passed on the subnets to the collection of known attacks. So it is at a centralized or at a meeting point monitoring what is happening in the network. Let us look at the advantages of NIDS. It detects attacks in the entire network, unlike HIDS. It can use information collected from attacks on different hosts to detect attacks on a new or fresh host. Host protection remains unaffected since it is not installed on every host. Let us look at its shortcomings. It might be slow as compared to the network speed, so it may not be as quick as desired. Scrutinizing protected channels may prove to be a bit difficult. It is also passive in nature. Let us compare and contrast HIDS and NIDS. By definition, HIDS, that's host intrusion detection system, NIDS, that's network intrusion detection system. Then let us look at the types. HIDS doesn't work in real time, whereas NIDS try to operate in real time. Let us look at the main area of concern. HIDS is related to just a single system. As the name suggests, it is only concerned with the threats related to the host where it is installed on that computer. Then let us look at NIDS. It's concerned about the entire network. It looks at the network in its entirety. NIDS examine the activities and traffic of all the systems in the network. Installation point. HIDS can be installed on each and every computer, whereas NIDS, being concerned with the network, is installed at places like routers, servers, as these are the main intersection points in the network system so that it can monitor the entire system. Let us continue with the differences. HIDS, let us look at the execution process. HIDS operates by taking the snapshot of the current status of the system and comparing it against some already stored malicious tagged snapshots stored in the database. This clearly shows that there is delay in its operation in activities. NIDS works in the real time by closely examining the data flow and immediately reporting anything that is unusual. Let us look at the information about attack. The differences as they relate to information about the attack. HIDS are more informed about the attacks as they are associated with system files and processes, whereas NIDS, as the network is very large, it makes it quite difficult to keep track of the integrating functionalities that are less informed of the attacks. Then let us look at ease of installation. HIDS needs to be installed on every host, and the process can be hectic, can be tiresome. Ease of installation with regards to NIDS, since it's only a few installations that need to be done, it is quite easy to install. Then let us look at the response time. Response is quite slow on HIDS, whereas NIDS are fast since they operate on real time. Thank you for watching and listening to this video. Thank you so much.